Welcome everyone to another video of Vinyl Addict. This is Chili, and today's video I want to talk about Dirty Honey, and this is their debut. And some accuse them of, here we go again, another Zeppelin, Aerosmith ripoff band, whatnot. Do we need another one of these type of bands? Well, before we get into that, please don't forget to hit the like button, comment, share, and if you still haven't, please subscribe to the channel. Now that being said and out of the way, this album, I like this band. There's always going to be bands that come in and hard rock bands and try to, keep this kind of music going. And we had like The Darkness before, in the early 2000s, Greta Van Fleet. We had the Struts, and they'll take certain parts of rock and roll, classic rock and roll, whether it be glam or this part of rock and roll. And with them, these guys are like an Aerosmith riffage kind of. I mean, I hear Joe Perry all over the place. I mean, they've covered their songs, and you got Joe Perry, and you got somewhat of a Robert Plant vocal stylings, and even on his stage presence, Mark LaBelle, the vocalist. I mean, you can see the lineage of rock history. You see him, how he holds the mic, his mic stand, and it's sort of like Chris Robinson, which is Chris Robinson being Rod Stewart from the Faces. And so what I'm getting at is that even bands like Zeppelin or the Stones, when they started off on their first albums, they were emulating something else. So they were emulating blues artists, and then they've come to their own. Now that being said, of course, these guys are going to emulate who they were listening to, whether it was Zeppelin or Aerosmith, and hopefully they will come into their own, and I really feel like this band will do that. And more so than like a Greta Van Fleet, because there's something original about, this sound. It's more, now it's just become like a genre, like classic heavy rock music. And so it's just, this genre is now just kind of, bands could just come and play this type of music. And it's just sort of something that's been set in the collective and the consciousness of just, okay, that is classic rock sounding. That is just heavy blues rock. It's no longer, them trying to be this or trying to be that. I mean, of course, you're going to play this music, you're going to, come from the best, and, you want to pretty much be a part of that lineage and play those kinds of things while keeping your own identity. And I think they kind of do this. First of all, they do cover Prince, and that is something that I, as a Prince fan, I always kind of just cringe at people doing his songs, and they don't need to be done. And them doing Let's Go Crazy was different, and I say this because there's only a few bands that I like doing Prince music, and Chris Cornell was one of them. He did a great version of Nothing Compares to You with an acoustic guitar, beautiful. This version that it's not on this album, but they do a version, Dirty Honey, of Let's Go Crazy, and they do it the Third Eye Girl version. Okay, so Prince, with his band, before he passed on, he had a group which is just 3 women, and they were called Third Eye Girl, and they were 4-piece, and all they played was heavy rock and rock and roll. There was nothing else, Prince would go back to his catalog and play the rock songs, whether it was Bambi from the second album, from the first album, I'm Yours, you know what I mean? And they played Let's Go Crazy, and they played a heavy 70s kind of blues rock style. And Dirty Honey took that version that Prince revamped of his own song, and they played it that way. And then, at the end, they kind of throw in a little Aerosmith vibe to it. And then, all the solos, that John plays, he plays them pretty much the best identical to Prince. I mean, it's a really good, tribute, and you could tell that, they're like really good, big fans of music as far as rock and roll in general. From everything that they present themselves live, and the songs that they do, and they seem like a band that doesn't really care about wearing their influences on their sleeves, which is really good, because some bands, you could tell them over and over again, you guys are doing this, you guys are doing that, and they'll just deny it for the most part. For the longest time, the Black Crowes were just kind of like, no, we're not a Rolling Stones rip-off band, but they really were. We heard and saw what they were doing. It sounded like Exile on Main Street, a lot of their things, but then now they just finally, they've come a long way in the game, and they've totally embraced the whole Rolling Stones. I wouldn't say ripping them off. They kind of like took that spirit of the Stones, and it's been a part of them. There was a show where they played like 4 songs or 5 songs of the Rolling Stones on their set, and then Chris Robinson is like, I know whoever's coming here for the first time, you're probably going, what the fuck is this? Because they're playing Midnight Rambler, they're playing Torn and Frayed, and they're just going deep into the Rolling Stone catalog. And these guys seem to really wear their influences on their sleeves. They're not going to turn away from it. They're like, yes, we listen to this, yeah, we listen to that, so fucking what? Those are great they're great bands, and so that's my take on this. I mean, I think they're great. California Dreamin', this whole so-called EP LP is great. It's a great first effort, and I expect better things from these guys. So this is Dirty Honey, and that's my video for today. Please don't forget to hit like, comment on this video. What are your thoughts on this? And the packaging of here, I mean, I like their logo, and it's kind of like all over the place. There it is, and there it is again. So it's got to show the vinyl, you know what I mean? And so don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.